All right, welcome to my stream for the final predictions of this election cycle for pretty much everything important. So, governors, Senate, House, and of course, president. I haven't really thought, I haven't totally thought all this through ahead of time. I'm just kind of going into this based off of what I know and I also got people here who are going to give me opinions and stuff too. So I'm not just this is a consensus based stream. So anyway, we are going to start with the governors because that's the easiest. And I will share my screen at this point.
Gotta love the background.
Yeah, man, that is so loud. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. So, jeez, that is loud. Okay, okay, this is not going to take a while, because this is obviously governors. So, West Virginia's obviously safe. There are a few safe states we'll talk about just because there might be some interesting parts about them. So West Virginia, there's nothing there. I know. Republicans were mad that Patrick Morrisey is the nominee because they really wanted more Capito for some reason, and then they tried to get Manchin to run. I don't ask me what those people are thinking. I swear the West Virginia Republicans can be stupid sometimes.
They love them. They love them.
Anyway, North Dakota. So yeah, that's going to be Kelly Armstrong. No problem with that whatsoever. That's going to be easy. Giant Forte is winning re-election. He's actually leading in the polls by 20 some.
Wait, I thought it was Gian Forte.
I don't say it however you want. I don't really actually know how it's said. But yeah, he's leading in the polls by over 20 points, which is kind of crazy because even for Montana standards, that's redder than usual. And then of course Vermont. I want Phil Scott to get 75% of the vote this time. If he gets a lower share of the vote than he did last time, I will be disappointed. But regardless,
I think the lieutenant governor also flips because Scott has been campaigning heavily for him.
Oh yeah. Didn't they nominate a moderate Republican for that?
A former Democrat, yeah.
Yeah, he was a former Democrat. Yeah, honestly, that's possible. Although it is against Dave Zuckerman, who
I hate that guy.
The thing about Zuckerman, we're going off on a little tangent here, but I have to say this. The thing about Zuckerman is you would think in Vermont he would be super popular and do really good in races because he's literally he's literally he's like a Bernie Sanders type left-wing progressive. But for whatever reason, he always underperforms in every race he runs in. He won by 11 in 2022 for some reason, and then he lost to Scott in a landslide in 2020, even though he's super left wing. So it's I don't know what the deal is with that guy.
Yeah, they don't like him. They don't like him.
Probably because of Scott.
Yeah, well, 2020 definitely because it's Scott. But then he underperformed in 2022. I just have no idea what's up with that. Anyway, Missouri is. I still hate
Kehoe. Yeah.
I still hate that it's going to be Kehoe. I don't think he's going to be awful, but it's we had such a good opportunity for an upgrade, and the two good Republicans split the vote.
Well, wasn't Trump also all three of these guys are amazing. I love them. They're biggest fit of me.
Yeah, he was having a weird obsession with doing co-endorsements around that time because that's the time around that same time he endorsed Masters and Hamadeh simultaneously.
Yeah. They love him.
And Sessler and Tiffany Smiley too in Washington or whatever. He had a weird obsession with co-endorsements around that time. I'm not sure what was up with that, but
that was after the post-Freedom Caucus hatred endorsements.
Yeah, it's true actually.
Okay, let's get Utah out of the way because no one cares.
Okay, yeah. So Spencer Cox is an awful governor, but it might be funny because there's several right-wing third parties running, including Lyman, because Lyman's running as a write-in candidate. And he's probably going to crack 5%, maybe even reach closer to 10% in the general. So Spencer Cox might not even crack 50% in Utah, which would be funny, but no guarantees of that. Anyway, of course, we have to talk about Indiana. So Mike Braun's going to underperform because, first of all, the Dems have a good candidate, but secondly, it's also just the fact that the Libertarian is super high profile.
I really don't see him doing much. Kind of an egghead. I don't think he's gonna do much.
Yeah.
The Libertarian or Mike Braun?
The Libertarian, he's an egghead.
Oh yeah, like literally an egghead.
It's like a bald Brian Griffiths.
I will say this: if anybody other than Mike Braun had won the primary, I would seriously have been tempted to vote for the Libertarian because I actually like that guy. Like his 2020 platform was good. And I think it's good this time around, but Braun's too good to ignore. So anyway, so yeah, that's it for. Oh yeah, North Carolina is going to be double digits for Stein. It's basically over.
I think
Undecided.
the Lieutenant governor race. I think that goes blue too because
It might.
She's the daughter of the former governor.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I think the undecideds are breaking for Robinson just because there are a lot of Republicans who are just like, I can't decide whether or not I want to vote for this dude or not, but some of them will just vote for him in the end. But I don't think that's going to stop it from being above 10% because I use 10% as
he's
my margin.
Erwin Stevens said like, "Oh, I'm scared of reverse coattails."
I mean, there was, I always knew that was BS, but there was actually a legitimate discussion about that for like a month or whatever. Okay, Delaware,
for sure.
Delaware. The thing about Delaware is the Republican candidate is like super moderate, and I was hoping like he would like be able to be like a Larry Hogan or Phil Scott type New England East Coast Republican or whatever. But like, I don't know. Delaware just seems really polarized and there's like no polling available. So I think it's there's no reason to think that's going to be anywhere close.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, Washington, I think it's double digits at this point.
I disagree. I think it's like 9.
Yeah, something like 8, 9.
It's possible. I don't know. Riker just fell off somehow. Like,
what did he do? I don't know what he did.
He didn't do anything. I mean, I thought I heard a story. Actually, this might not have had anything to do with
Washington's just a fuck state. That's it.
Well, it's the West Coast. The West Coast will always elect Democratic governors, even if they're in terrible shape. They continue to vote for the exact same people. They bring it upon themselves. I mean, I'm sorry. I think Riker is going. Maybe he'll lose by like 10 or whatever. It could be single digits, but like he just seems to have like collapsed in the polling for some reason. And I know polls aren't everything, obviously, because we always have polling misses. But like, I don't know. I
think
I guess it just depends.
The primary was kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, the primary was also a weak showing. But I don't know. It's possible it's like 8 or 9, but like because Riker is good, but like I don't know. I'm not willing to say that just yet or at all because we're like 3 days away. And then New Hampshire. So Ayotte's been leading the polls pretty consistently. I think this is a lean margin for Ayotte. And I think she'll be better than Sununu because she's actually talking about getting the redistricting in New Hampshire to give Republicans 1 seat and Democrats another seat. So we might actually end up picking up a House seat out of New Hampshire because of Kelly Ayotte, which would be pretty epic. So, I think she'll be good. But yeah, that's the governors. So not too many surprises here. This is basically what most people think.
Yeah, that's map. I just have Washington likely.
Honestly, I mean, well, you use 13, right? So yeah. So I don't know. I guess under your standards, that would be likely.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so that's it for the governors. What do we want to do next? House.
Let's do Senate. We'll do the House last because I might not have time for like the whole stream. So.
Okay, yeah, we got this lovely Senate map.
All right, so let's not talk about like the deep red and blue states.
Yeah, so we're gonna fill in all these. Just on a side note, maybe Steve Garvey does actually get it in 20, but like I'm still not sure I want to say
Oh
that.
yeah, we have only 3 days before you owe Red PA and Chapman their $1,000.
I said I'd pay them that if it was within 15, not within 20.
Oh, I thought you said 20. Oh, I think Maryland's likely as well.
Yeah, I think Maryland's
Well,
likely.
here's the thing about Maryland, though. Okay, wait. So you're using 13 and above is likely, right?
You mean
Or
safe?
safe.
Yeah.
Wait, Neiman, what are your margins? Do you use above
For
10
me,
like I do?
Yeah, for me 10.
I don't see it being single digits anymore.
I have it at like 11, probably something like that.
I have it at like 13 or 14. Maybe it's like I guess 12 might be a reasonable consensus to come to, but I don't know. It's not anything Hogan did. I mean, he had to walk an impossible line of being anti-Trump, but still getting the voters out of Andy Harris's district.
If he ran as an
like,
independent with Republicans, he should have done that.
yeah, he would have just had to have like gotten the Republican nominee to drop out, like whoever it would have been. Like, I don't know. It's nothing. It's nothing he's doing. He's just trying really hard to pander to Democrats, and I guess it's winning over some people. But in the end, it's not enough because he's still turning off some Republicans, even if most of them are voting for him in the end. So
He did his job though. He diverted money from Tester, for example.
he did. Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, like he made the Dems panic more. But yeah, okay. Connecticut, New Jersey. I know Andy Kim might do a little bit worse than like an average Democrat in New Jersey. I think the Republican candidate is good here.
No,
but,
I
like,
agree it is safe because didn't like the Republican like have like a fucking stroke on the debate stage or something like that?
no, he just said that he hadn't eaten all day or whatever, and that's why he like froze up. He just
Yeah.
like wasn't.
He did
in good
not look
shape.
okay. He looked like he was in pretty shitty health, but
Yeah, in New York. So Gillibrand's probably going to underperform a little bit, but it won't matter. This is still New York.
Minnesota. I meant not New Mexico.
Yeah, Minnesota. So Klobuchar is going to win by like 13 or 14. I
I
think.
really don't see it being that close. I
Is
really
Hawkeye
don't.
lagging for you too, Sam?
No, he's not.
For me, he is.
Oh,
Oh.
oops.
I don't know. I think it's just polarization. I guess it's possible it's like closer to 16 because like there are some incumbents who
Well,
can
the thing
still
is, like, you
outperform
keep
by a
saying
lot.
polarization, but Minnesota is not like a red state.
No, it's not. But like I'm thinking Harris wins it by like 5 to 6. And if that's the case, then like I don't see Klobuchar outperforming by because I know she's like popular and all, and she always wins over Republicans, but it's like polarization is still catching up. Like I don't see how she can like outperform by like above 10 or whatever.
She might crack like 80% of the vote in Hennepin County.
Yeah, I mean maybe. It's just funny because like Royce White's such a bad candidate, but they didn't even care about that race to begin with, so it's not like it even matters.
I hate Royce White.
Anyway, anywhere else? I think that's good. I guess I don't know. I think we're gonna wait on Virginia and New Mexico. Because I don't think those might not be completely safe, even though we know who's going to win them most likely. So for Republicans, it's Utah, Wyoming, North Dakota. We're going to talk about Nebraska. I still hate that people are hyping that up, but like in like 3 days,
we've seen that story so many times.
In 3 days, like everybody's going to be made a fool of for saying, "Oh my word, Deb Fischer might actually lose this." Like,
oh yeah, especially since Osborne like said he was gonna caucus with Democrats.
yeah, well, exactly. Also, it's just like it's still Nebraska. It's like Fischer sucks, but it's like, come on, how much can she underperform?
Yeah, there's no
Um,
way like enough people are gonna be like, I want Donald Trump to win in the White House, but I really want Democrats to control the Senate, so I'm gonna vote for Osborne because
yeah.
like come on, bro. It's not.
All right, that looks good. Okay, we'll talk about likely states. So, for the two Dem likely states, so if it weren't for the early voting out of Virginia, I would say that this is double digits for Tim Kaine, but I think Republicans do have a good chance at uh, overperforming in Virginia, even if they obviously still don't win it.
I'm just so excited, like on election night when Virginia's actually not that close, and then Republicans just feel so stupid about themselves.
Well, it's
But
gonna
that's,
go like D+6 probably.
if it's D+6, that's
You know,
fine.
everyone thinks it's gonna be like 3 for some reason.
I mean, I guess there's an outside chance it is, but I'm not predicting that
I think it's like
whatsoever.
less than a 5% chance of happening.
Um. So yeah, I think Hung Kao's a good candidate, but it's like I don't know, for whatever reason, Tim Kaine is just like always good in elections for some reason. It's kind of dumb, but whatever. Um. And then New Mexico, I nobody really ever hyped this up that like the daughter of like a former senator was running here, but like she could. I don't think she's a bad candidate. I think she's just kind of like apart from her name, there's like nothing special about her at all. But it is New Mexico. I think Harris underperforms here pretty decently because of Latino support dropping. So this will be single digits most likely. Um, and yeah, I think that's it for likely Democrat states. So for likely Republican states, we've got Florida. I think Trump wins Florida by double digits. We'll talk about that later.
I think Scott
But
does too.
I think it's possible Scott does, but I don't know. I think
Florida
it's still
shifted
single
so far to the
digits.
right. It's
I
not
think
even
it's
funny.
still single digits for Scott just because he's just not, for whatever reason, he's just not the most likable or strong incumbent. Like I don't know what it is about him. Like I support him for like majority leader or whatever, but like, yeah, I don't think he's not the best candidate for Florida. I guess I don't really know why. But yeah, I think that's the only one because I think Texas is going to be lean. We'll talk about that soon. So yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Well,
no.
Nebraska.
Oh yeah, Nebraska and Montana. So Montana's going to be likely at this
Chester
point
is in fact done.
because like I know Emerson College released a +3 for Sheehy only, but like most of the other polls show this as being like Sheehy +5 to 8, like
I
anywhere in
really
there.
think Sheehy winning by like 10 is more possible than Tester fucking winning at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Like, yeah. I think Sheehy wins by around 6.5, I guess. Maybe 7.
yeah,
But
yeah. I mean, because I think Trump's going to improve on his 2020 margin in Montana,
oh,
probably.
yeah, especially if he's like going to perform a little better than 2020 nationwide. I don't know why Montana would shift left.
Yeah,
I
right.
saw this one like liberal on Twitter where they thought Trump would only win it by like 10 because of Tester. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's that's really dumb. Oh yeah, and Nebraska, I don't know what to think about this. I think it might actually still be like Fisher +10 because this is feeling too much like Alaska 2020 where everybody thought Dan Sullivan was going to win by like 4 or 5 or something. They thought it was like super close and then he wins by like 11. It's possible this just becomes Alaska 2020 2.0, but like I don't know. I guess we could say it's barely single digits. It's just I don't know. If it's double digits, it's just going to be more of I'm just going to be laughing harder at everybody who said that this was so close.
I don't think anyone
Um,
in RGC thought that. I think it was just like people like. Actually, I haven't even talked to RBC about this race actually, so I don't know what he thinks.
yeah. But yeah, Fisher's running a bad campaign to be sure, but like it's still Nebraska. So
Yeah.
I just
All
hope
right.
Fisher just goes like retires soon, like in 2030.
she's already 73 this year, and she actually said when she initially ran she was only going to serve 2 terms, so she already broke her term limits pledge.
How many terms has she served currently?
She's been around for 2 terms, and now she's running for a third one.
Oh my
And
god.
I think because I think the fact she'll be 79 in 2030 probably means she's retiring. Like I don't think she's going to run again after already breaking her term limits pledge once. So
Yeah.
all right.
And then Arizona, make that likely. I don't want to hear it. I really don't want to hear it.
No.
Wait, what about Arizona?
I'm sorry. I still think Arizona just because I don't think Gallego can outperform
Yeah,
Harris
if
by
Trump's
as
winning
much.
Arizona by like 2 to 3, I can't see her
Well,
losing
I
by
don't
that
have
much.
Trump winning it by 2 to 3. I think it's
No,
still
he's
at
not.
best.
He's not winning it by 2 to 3 to be sure, but like I I still don't know how, because the thing about the polling in Arizona is that most of the polls have like Lake at like 43, 44%. The remaining undecideds are mostly Republicans who like don't like Lake, but many of which are probably going to vote for her in the end reluctantly. Some of them are going to vote for Gallego. There are going to be plenty of Trump Gallego voters because,
Which makes no sense.
well, it does sort of, because there are plenty of independent voters who like think, okay, yeah, Trump is definitely better than Harris. But then Carrie Lake is so off-putting just because of how she handled 2022. It's like I can kind of see why they would just be like, you know what, this woman is too obnoxious.
I agree with
can't
that.
back her.
It's Gallego. It's not Cinema or Kelly.
Yeah, it's true, but I don't know. The Republicans tried hard to like make Gallego look like an extremist, and it didn't work
And they
because
fail like they do every single time.
well, because Lake is already way more disliked than Gallego could ever be. It's like if you could have a likable Republican that and be able to paint the Democrat as an extremist, then that might actually work. But Lake is like already so disliked by most people in Arizona. It's like you just can't do that. Like they're going to take Gallego now. So but
Yeah,
since
so
we're already
I
talking
think
about this, I guess I'll put it as lean. I think this is going to be high lean though, like 4 to 5.
it's like 7 at this point. I really don't see Lake getting that close. I really don't.
I
If
think like 5. I don't know.
Yeah, just make it likely.
nah, I'm not.
I think Lean's good.
I think I might end up having to eat my words for this, but I really don't see there being that much ticket splitting. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I
like
agree with that.
It's not even that I think there's gonna be ticket splitting. I just see some people just leaving the fucking Senate
It's-
thing blank.
that's also true. That's also gonna
Yeah,
be a
because like
factor with
most Trump voters like don't even care about like the Senate. They just want Trump in office. They don't care about anything else.
some of
Early
them.
voting
Like,
looks really good though in some of these states.
it does, but I'm still not. I don't know how much it helps Lake. Now, I will say this one more thing about Arizona. There was what's that poll at Alice Intel for
Yeah,
whatever
it's coming out
reason.
at 6:30.
Yeah, Alice Intel. I look, I don't believe them for Arizona simply because their polling of Arizona is just too Republican for me to be. They somehow found Lake ahead by 1 and Trump up by 4, which is like
It's not happening.
I'm not willing to believe that at all. But like I think it's more realistic than the pollsters showing Trump winning by like 3 and then Gallego winning by 8. Because
Yeah.
at least it shows that at least it captures the level of polarization. I think at the end of the day, it's closer to like Trump plus some tilt margin in Arizona, and then Gallego plus 4.5 or something. Like I think that's more that's at least it's, even if I don't agree with like the results of the poll, it's at least accurate in showing there's not that much ticket splitting. So but yeah, it's still lean for sure. We can talk about Nevada while we're at it. Sam Brown's again winning over the undecided voters who don't really know who he is, but it's not enough. unless Trump somehow wins Nevada by like 4 because of the early vote. But I don't think it's going to be that way at all. So, yeah, I don't know what happened with that guy. He should have been a good candidate, and I don't know. He just wasn't cut out for it, I guess. But there's very little else to say on that. I think Rosen's just a fairly inoffensive incumbent, so that's kind of
Doesn't
how
she have like kind of like a semi bipartisan record, or am I tweaking?
No, I think she does. She was like
Oh, okay.
ranked as one of the more bipartisan senators. So she's still a generic lib, but like it just doesn't matter. I don't get what happened with Brown. I think part of it could be just the way he looks, but
Which
like
is
that's pretty.
true.
Yeah, that's pretty sad if true. But like I don't know. I think he outperforms polling again just because of the undecideds, but like it doesn't matter in the end because Trump has to win Nevada by more than like Bush did in 2000 and 2004, and like I really don't see that happening. So we can talk about Texas, I guess. So Texas is going to be Cruz plus like 4.5. I think honestly, if Trump is really like doing way better in Texas, then I don't think that though. Because like I think Trump is probably winning Texas by like 8 at the max. So yeah, I don't.
Cruz probably wins by like 3 or 4.
I think it's 4.5. It could actually be a likely margin. It's just I don't know. He's just so unlikable.
Yeah, Trump just needs to give him some position in like judiciary.
Did any of you guys actually know? Speaking of which, did any of you guys know he considered Ted Cruz for Supreme Court
Yeah.
at one point? I think that's crazy. Imagine having Ted Cruz on the Supreme Court. He's like one of the most partisan guys ever, and it's just like, oh, we're going to put him into a position that ideally is supposed to be nonpartisan because it's the Supreme Court. But it's anyway. I just find that funny because if he had actually gotten there, that would have been nuts. But yeah, that's pretty much all to say about Texas. Colin Allred's not a good candidate. I don't know why some people hyped him up.
I hate Colin Allred. I don't know why Chapman's supporting him.
Yeah, and like Liz Cheney's supporting him too. Like I have no idea what's up.
That's
with
not a
that.
Republican anymore.
Cheney's just a Lincoln project, bro.
She's supporting. Do you guys? I just realized this today.
Supporting Slotkin.
No, she's supporting Slotkin. Do you guys know who Nick LaLota is, right? In New York's first congressional district. She endorsed the Democrat in that race. Nick LaLota is literally one of the most generic, maybe even moderate Dems from New York because he's from Long Island and that's more competitive. He's like literally not even this insane election denier like Ted Cruz. And she's like, oh no, I still support the Democrat here because of reasons. It's like, come on, what are you even doing anymore?
Did the Republican was he ever like a giant election denier?
As far as I know, he wasn't. Like he's always given me like
she's just a Lincoln project, bro.
And Rogers is a Bush Republican.
Yeah, dude, yeah, she's literally the Lincoln project.
Yeah, it's stupid. But yeah, now we get to the Rust Belt. So the obvious one to knock out of the way here is Ohio. I think this is like Marino plus 1.5. Could be more if Trump outperforms in Ohio, but like I'm not sure how generous I want to be with Marino. Simply because he is still a weaker candidate. It's just he's going to ride Trump's coattails because
Vance is helping.
Well, yeah, Vance is helping, and Marino has aligned himself with Trump a lot. And plus, I mean, I don't know, Sherrod Brown, he's just kind of a career politician at this point. It's like, I think his time's just coming to an end, honestly, because he's like getting up there in years. So, but yeah, and that leaves us with these 3 Rust Belt states. We can talk about Michigan first. I think this is lean. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Kilter lean, yeah.
I don't know. I think Rogers is a good candidate, or not necessarily even a good candidate. I think he's an okay candidate. but Michigan's still the bluest state, and I think Harris is going to do decent in Michigan. And also Detroit turnout, my understanding is that it's relatively high, which is not obviously a good sign for Trump and Rogers in general. But
And
like,
Slotkin's actually a good candidate.
yeah, Slotkin's fine. I mean, she's not actually a moderate, but like it doesn't matter. She gives off the right vibes. Plus, I don't know, Rogers is just like he's just kind of a generic R. Like he has a good ground game, but it's like at the end of the day, there's not anything he's doing that's like winning over some of the like more left-leaning independent voters, like or like union people. I think he's running on like anti-China stuff, which is good, but like at the end of the day, it's like Slotkin's still like, like a generic Dem that like, more left-leaning independents are going to break for. So it's like it really, I don't think it should change much. So yeah, that's the easiest one of these three. The other two are a little bit harder. I'm gonna say Casey wins by a tilt margin. I think this is really, really close, but I still don't think McCormick quite overcomes.
Yeah, I can't tell if Pennsylvania or Wisconsin's the one we're targeting. I think Wisconsin.
Yeah,
I'd say
so
both of them. I'd say both Pennsylvania and Wisconsin are just barely over 1. It's like they're like 1.0, 1.3, something like that. So Till is reasonable, but I really think that it's lean still barely.
I guess the early vote in Pennsylvania is good. Like I think McCormick and Trump are doing a good job at like getting their like low propensity voters and
Yeah,
whatnot.
they
Like
complement each other well.
their turnout operation is phenomenal. There's just still too many working class vote. Like McCormick is doing good with the unions and stuff, but it's like there's still too many working class voters who are like, I like Trump, but also Bob Casey Jr. is just like my good old generic union supporting moderate, quote unquote, moderate Democrat. So I'm going to vote for him. It's like,
Cap's definitely one of those people who thinks that Casey is just like his father policy wise. Like he just saw his name was Casey and he was like, "Oh, he must just be like his dad." And then
no,
doesn't even
no,
proceed.
it's because Casey's economically left wing. That's why Cap supports him. He thinks McCormick's going to sell out. I'm sorry. I respect the guy, but it's like every time he gives a bad take, like, oh, I support this Democrat when Republicans should be taking control of the Senate. It's like, I'm sorry. What is wrong with you? You know full well Casey's not doing anything for
I think he's actually
Pennsylvania.
supporting more Democrats, like with these like races down ballot at this point.
It's just I'm just so confused. It's like Casey is just literally a generic lib. What is it with you thinking that, oh, he's actually so good because he's economically left wing? I mean, McCormick used to be a massive pro free trade guy, sure, but like he's been running a fairly America first, like Trumpy economic campaign actually for this. So like he's actually been running more economically left wing than he used to be. So it's like I don't even get like why McCormick would be so terrible. That's why he's doing so good, is because he's actually running a good campaign for the state he's running in. So but yeah, it's still Casey. I'm not willing to say he loses unless Trump really outperforms in Pennsylvania, which I guess is possible.
Do we think Lefty wins though?
This one's
No.
just kind of a toss-up. I think it's if Trump outperforms polling in Wisconsin like by way more than like not by way more, if he outperforms polls in Wisconsin like he normally does, because he's already basically either tied in Wisconsin slightly ahead, or there are some polls that have Harris slightly ahead in Wisconsin. So if Trump is getting like even a 2-point overperformance, which is not even much compared to how much he outperformed polling both of the prior two elections, then he's like winning it by like 2-3 or like 1-2 or something. In which case, I think Hovde would actually win, but I'm not sure if I'm willing to say Trump is winning Wisconsin by more than 27 2016 because it's like
I
that
don't know.
sounds intuitively crazy.
I think Trump might be able to carry him over. It just depends how much he wins by.
See, here's the thing. Wisconsin, and I know Neiman, you told me this before. Wisconsin's thing is that they like
Oh, yeah, I
it's
forgot
been
about
like
that.
70 years since they've elected a president and a senator of different parties at the same time, like during the same year.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So it's like they might break that streak and do it this year, but it's like if Baldwin is outperforming, she's not outperforming by much. She's outperforming by like 1 point max. So if Trump is winning this by like over a point, then I think Hovde is probably barely winning it. But either way, this is a tilt race. This is either tilt Baldwin or tilt Hovde. And just out of the interest of being generous here and not being unbiased and not being overly biased, I'm going to say this is barely for Baldwin, but I think it's possible Hovde actually wins.
I hope you get it wrong.
I could also just leave it as a toss-up if you want.
I don't know. Up to Hawkeye.
I really don't care. Do whatever, because I could see it flipping. But
yeah, I think it's going to be at least 52 Republican Senate seats. These two races right here, if Republicans have a good night, they could be up to 54. But I think 52 is their floor and 54 is their ceiling.
I'm gonna get my charger real quick before we start the next thing.
Okay.
we'll do president next. I have to go soon, so I want to get that done.
All right. So while Neiman's getting his charger, we will just do the safe states. All this is going to be above 10 points.
We have let's see here. We got 24 minutes until the Iowa poll comes out. I'm so excited for that.
Either way, regardless of what the Iowa poll says, like the fact Emerson already has Trump plus 10 here, this is going to be double digits for Trump.
Wasn't Emerson like a trash poll?
No, Emerson's one of the few polls I actually kind of look at and say, okay, I'm okay with them, because like most other polls just like suck at this point. Even though they provide some indication of where the race is at, it's like, I don't like look at them and actually like take real stock in what they have to say. Same with Ohio. Honestly, this is tough. Ohio might barely be above 10 or it might be barely under 10.
Wait, we're doing president next?
Yeah, we're doing president. What do you think of Ohio? Is Ohio going to barely be above 10 or barely be under 10?
Just about 10.
So you think it's like slightly over 10? I think that's reasonable.
Yeah. I think Florida is double digits too.
Oh yeah, Florida as well. Yeah, the early vote is so good here. Like Florida's not going to be single digits.
Florida's Colorado at this point.
Level. Yeah, it's literally the Republican Colorado. It's ridiculous. Alaska. Do we think Alaska's going to be double digits, or do we think it shifts to the left?
I see it shifting left.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Okay, so we'll wait on that then. But it'll be like barely single digits then, because I don't think Harris is going to shift it too far. Anyway, so these states right here should all be, yes, Colorado is double digits. We're not talking about Colorado. DC, all these. New Jersey is going to still be, and New York too. New York is going to be like 13 or 14, maybe like 15. We might be overhyping New York. It could be more than we think. But Vermont, Connecticut, Maine's first,
and Illinois,
and Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Yeah, okay, I think this is good. So likely states. I think for Democrats, Virginia's likely. I think this is going to be like 5 to 7, anywhere between 5 to 7.
In Virginia, I just hope Vindman loses. That's all I hope.
Yeah, no, yeah, we'll talk about that because that race is going to be really close. So yeah, Virginia 5 to 7, unless somehow the early voting actually does make it be lean, which it sounds crazy. I don't think that's going to happen, but if the early voting is any indicator, it might. But again, we don't know what's going to happen on election day in terms of turnout, so I'm not willing to make such a bold claim like that. Maine is also Maine's going to be single digits. I think it might be. Do we think Maine shifts to the right this year?
Yeah.
I think it might. I think it's going to be like 7 or 8, maybe. So yeah.
Main second, fill that.
Oh yeah, Maine second. Honestly, do we think Maine second is going to be above 10?
I would not be shocked if it was.
The post have it as like 14.
I would not be shocked. I'm going to say it's barely under 10. Either way, that's fine because down ballot, Jared Golden's going to have a difficult time if it's just barely under 10. But we might, honestly, it might be above 10.
I think it's above 10.
Yeah, we'll just say it's above 10 then. Okay. Oh yeah, and Alaska. I'm going to say Alaska is like 9.2 or something like that. I mean,
does ranked choice voting get repealed?
I think it does because it's just a confusing system. Like, I think people are just like done with it. I would be done with it. It's like so weird. Yeah, New Hampshire, this is going to be, no, not lean. Sorry. This is going to be likely. I think it's going to shift to the right a little bit, but like not really enough for it to be. Although my understanding is Dems are actually getting slightly worried about the state. So
yeah, that's why they have Clinton coming there.
But like, I don't think their worry is all that justified because it's still probably going to be above 5 either way. Okay. Texas. So this is going to be like 8 max for Trump. I think it's anywhere from like 6 to 8. I think. Because Harris is going to underperform with the Latino vote. I don't think the urban areas are going to be any more maxed out than they were in 2020. If anything, they might slightly go down just a little bit, just because this is not 2020. Like, the national environment is worse for Dems this year than 2020 for sure, because we don't have a pandemic or whatever with Trump being in office. Like, it's kind of an opposite scenario. But yeah, that not too much more to say about that. New Mexico,
8 points maybe.
Yeah, 8 points, or honestly maybe even 7. Like, if the Latino vote's really bad for Harris, this might see a decent shift, but still probably going to be above 5.
I still see Harris doing fine in like Dallas and Austin. Houston probably is not that good for her, but I think she does well in Dallas and Austin.
Yeah.
Nebraska second's likely, I think.
I think it is. I think it is. Yeah. Not too much to say there. It's very left trending. It's just what happens when isn't it like that's like where Omaha is, right? I mean, it's just like an example of a city getting bluer, I guess. Like, I guess that's kind of all it is. Minnesota is going to be above 5 most likely. I mean, Tim Walz is on the ticket, so I guess that sort of helps Harris.
How much? Like 5, 6?
Yeah, 5 to 6. I think it'll see a small shift to the right. Okay, that looks to be it for the likely states. So yeah, all we really have left now are the actual swing states. If we're starting with Nevada, I think Nevada might be tilt R, just based off of the early vote. Maybe even lean R, but I'm not quite willing to go that far yet.
If it goes lean R, then it's finally having that realignment that people have been saying about Florida.
Yeah. I mean, I think people always overrate how much to the right Nevada is going, because they've been saying it's leaning to the right for years and it never flips. But like, this time we actually have early vote data that shows that yes, Nevada is in fact, like, Dems are seriously having a turnout problem in Nevada. I mean, and the fact that all the experts on Nevada politics are saying Harris is in trouble. Yeah, like Ralston and then the culinary unions or whatever are like all saying.
I think Harris does just fine. in Washoe, it's Clark that I think she's gonna do pretty bad in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clark is shifting to the right for sure.
But Washoe, I think she does okay.
Not enough though, I don't think.
Well, yeah, and also Washoe is less populated.
Yeah,
than
I know.
Clark,
That's why I have
definitely.
divided nearly for Trump by around like I don't know 0.4.
Yeah. And then Arizona. So Arizona, I think Trump is going to slightly underperform his polling in Arizona just because Arizona, just Sunbelt polls in general tend to be a little bit too nice to Republicans sometimes. But
Yeah, I do not buy the narrative that's gonna be like, oh, Trump's automatically gonna win it by 5. Like, no, he's still horrible for that state.
But Harris does suck in Arizona, so that I can see why.
Yeah, but like the people who use the border as the excuse, like the border was already their biggest issue in 2022. Now, does Trump win it? Yeah, maybe, but I think that I think. Oh my God, I can't.
Well, I mean,
speak today.
even Alan freaking Lickman thinks he wins it.
Yeah,
And
that's yeah. So I think it's a toss up.
also, I think after that map, we can fully discredit him.
yeah, no, that map is so stupid.
I want to. Do you think that might be RBC's new map, or
It actually might be.
or is he going to be like, oh, I think Lickman's overestimating Trump?
That I would not. I actually wouldn't be surprised if he somehow thought that. But yeah, Arizona. I just think based off like 2020 polls in Arizona were actually fairly decent, but like I just think that Sunbelt polling, if it overestimates anybody, it typically overestimates Republicans by a slight amount. But Trump's just been polling the strongest in Arizona out of any swing state. I don't see how he has a massive underperformance of polls. And just in general, like the state barely voted for Biden. All it has to do is barely shift to the right, and it votes for Trump.
Well,
And
also, just see the turnout. It's like 130,000 for Republicans, and 2020 and 22 was like a damn advantage.
yeah, no, yeah, the early vote's also very good. That's another thing. All right, moving on to Georgia. So, do we want to say lean or tilt?
I'd say
for
lean.
Trump? I think it might barely be lean by like a point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because black men.
Yeah, black men
The
and
black men.
Also, it's just like again, this is another state Trump has been doing a lot better in. I think he may have taken it for granted in 2020. Maybe I'm just making that up. I feel like he just paid attention to the Rust Belt way more than anywhere else in 2020, and that's like, and the Dems just had a great turnout operation, but like, I just don't see the turnout being as good as it was
Right.
this year for Dems. So it's like, I don't know. I think this is probably a Trump win by more than Arizona, most likely.
And possibly North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay, North Carolina is going to be lean. I think it still does vote to the right of Georgia, but they might actually see similar margins, which would be kind of cursed, actually.
If Trump
It
loses
really
the
wouldn't be
Rust
that
Belt,
cursed
I'm gonna go
considering-
crazy because of that
Considering
Nebraska thing.
every single election up until 2020, Georgia was actually redder than North Carolina since like I think 1984.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
I mean,
yeah.
it's kind of true. Yeah.
Yeah, so it actually would not even be that cursed to see.
Yeah.
Before we get to Wisconsin, I'm gonna check if Seltzer's out.
No, it don't come out. We still have 12 minutes. Okay, never mind. Don't listen to me. He don't even care. He's just like, oh, I'm just gonna go check it anyway.
No, I don't see it. Atlas's final forecast came out. They have Trump winning Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, Michigan, Wisconsin toss-up.
Oh. Okay, speaking of Wisconsin, look. If
Oh
there
wait,
is-
no, 1992 was the last time it voted to the.
Okay. But speaking okay, so we're going to talk about Wisconsin next. If there is one thing that still makes me think the Rust Belt is having a problem with maybe understating Trump's support by just even a small amount, because it's obviously not going to be as much as in the last two elections. But if there's one thing that makes me think they're still slightly underestimating Trump, It's the fact that the polls are still showing Wisconsin voting to the left of Pennsylvania. What is it with polls in Wisconsin always being like, okay, so Dems are going to win Wisconsin, but Trump actually has a stronger chance in PA? Like, it's like, no, Wisconsin has always been the redder state out of these three. And like the polls are still showing it being like maybe it's barely a Harris win, which like nobody believes that this is going to be the map. Okay. If you think this, you're insane. Like Wisconsin is, it's going to be red. Okay. Like I think it's going to be a tilt margin for.
Well, I could see a scenario where Trump wins PA, but both Wisconsin and Michigan are blue. But I agree with your other statement saying the other like is insane.
It's just like Wisconsin just has this thing where like they're so bad at poll. Like Pennsylvania and Michigan, sure, Republicans always outperform polling there, but Wisconsin, it is so bad most of the time. It's like, and like to be fair, we don't really have good early voting metrics out of Wisconsin because they don't do party ID. You don't really know who the voters are, but I think the data is at least showing that the Republican leaning areas are turning out in the early vote. So I think it's a decent sign.
Well, plus in 2022, we actually did okay in Wisconsin. We did horrible in Michigan, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I mean, at least we kept Ron Johnson despite how unpopular that guy is, you know. I mean, so Michigan, though, I think Michigan's going to be tilt for Harris. The Detroit turnout, if it's really true that Detroit turnout is pretty darn high, then like I don't see how Trump is winning here. I think he's doing good with the Muslim vote because, you know, a lot of them are voting for Jill Stein and whatnot.
Man, I hate how that's the people we're appealing to now. I hate that so much.
And he's also going to do good with like the white working class and, you know, the auto worker unions that are a massive, you know, that's a massive industry in Michigan. But like at the end of the day, if Detroit's turning out like it is, it's like, I don't know. It's still probably voting for Dems just because it's still the bluest of these three. But I don't know. I guess it's possibly sweeps the Rust Belt. I'm not seeing it as of right now. Because like, yeah, I mean, I think Harris is stronger in Michigan just as a candidate in general than she is in either of these other two states. But then
the Gaza stuff might hurt her since Trump's doing so well with Muslims.
It's true. But yeah, I don't know. The thing is, people overstate how much the Muslim vote affects the elections.
Exactly. I've been trying to say this the land before time.
I mean,
sorry.
It's going like they're shifting the right for sure, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like there's still a very small percentage of the electorate. Like I get that Trump got the major endorsements from, you know, like the Hamtramck mayor and, you know, all these other local Muslim leaders. And I think that's good for him for sure, because a lot of Muslims are going to, you know, follow suit with that. But it's like at the end of the day, it's like, how much is that really going to change Michigan as a whole? Like it's going to help him, but I don't know. I don't think that's enough. So, but yeah, getting to Pennsylvania, the GOP turnout operation is really good here. The early voting is strong. I think the election day turnout is also going to be as good as it, you know, should be. I don't think there's going to be like a massive Dem surge on election day or anything like some people think. So I think Pennsylvania's tilt for Trump.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, I think Harris nearly takes it right now.
Why?
Because we've only had like one success recently, and that's been 2016. That was barely a win.
Yeah, and also the thing is, Philadelphia trending to the right is not going to be enough. Like the suburbs cannot trend that much to the left.
I don't think they will trend that strongly to the left, though.
I used to live right next to Bucks County. It's gonna remain the same, I think, as it did the last 2 years. Maybe some are gonna go to Harris because she's, you know.
Plus, I mean, the fact is, we've been running bad candidates in Pennsylvania. Like, I mean, we had Mastriano and like.
Well, I don't know how Trump's really that great of a candidate, but we're not gonna talk about that.
Well, he's better than Doug Mastriano and Dr. Oz. At least
Well-
he appeals to working class people in Pennsylvania. Like,
Yeah, but just to be cautious, like I don't want this
Yeah,
to have
I'm
to be,
I'm just
like,
the vibes I'm getting are Pennsylvania goes tilt blue, Wisconsin goes tilt red.
yeah, like, and also Trump's biggest gains are just like in the fucking Sun Belt. It seems like with minorities and stuff, and again, it could go either way. I'm not even saying it's a guaranteed, but like just so like our map isn't too like in case we do have a big underperformance, it'd be better to be safe than sorry.
I guess this answers the question. It comes down to Wisconsin.
Yeah, so
which is kind of weird because everybody says that like Pennsylvania is like almost for sure going to be the state that determines the election. Like it's the tipping point state for like
Well, I think
either
it's
Trump or
Wisconsin.
Harris. I
Yeah.
guess it just seems weird to me because everybody says if Trump's losing Pennsylvania, then I'm not quite sure how he wins or whatever. Like, but
Yeah,
that could just be wrong too.
In 2016 and 2020, Trump did better in Wisconsin than Pennsylvania. And 2022, we still did okay there.
yeah, we did a lot better in Wisconsin and
I don't know.
2022 than
I'm
PA.
still very optimistic about Pennsylvania just because of the early vote, and also Trump is
But
like.
why are you saying this like Trump's winning over new voters? He's not like these people like election day votes not going to be like that big of a landslide for him because he's already winning like them in the early vote. So like
But here's the thing. A lot of these early voters actually are new voters. Like they're low because that's part of the turnout operation.
Yeah, I know some
Trump's operatives in Pennsylvania have been finding new voters and getting them registered. Like they have been actively seeking out people who just like sit out politics.
I still think it's still
no. I have an
shady,
example. Like I have this one friend. He Pennsylvania. He's like an Indian Bernie Sanders supporter. Now he's a Trump fan.
That's kind of crazy.
I do not like that we're appealing to those type of people, but I mean, I guess. Anyway, I think just in case we have an underperformance, I think we're better off being safe than sorry. I really think we are. So just leave it tilt blue.
Or tilt blue, or honestly just a toss up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Then we leave Wisconsin Senate toss up.
Yeah, that's fine too.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, okay. This is either way. Trump is winning with or without Pennsylvania.
Assuming he wins the others, but I think this race is going to be close.
I think it's going to be close, but it's a good thing that we're being cautious in case we do like have this crazy underperformance again, which I don't think is going to happen, but like in case that actually did happen somehow. But I think we're doing better this year. So
if it goes to 270, 268, and we didn't change the Nebraska law, I swear to God.
Yeah, I'll be pretty mad if that happens.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad. Like Jim Pillen would probably, or not even Jim. I mean, Jim Pillen did he support it or not?
Yeah,
the
he did.
governor?
There's this one state senator that chose to be funny.
Okay, well, that state senator is going to be like the number one hated person in the GOP if that happened.
Well, he's a Democrat turned Republican.
Okay. So that's it for those. Now we just have the House.
All right, we have two more before we start. That we have 2 minutes until the what's it called, the Iowa poll. Also, why the fuck do you have Patola losing?
You're like lagging so bad.
No, sorry. I'm resetting the map.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, expect it to be like 1 point underestimating Trump. So whatever the result is, add Trump a point.
All right. Anyway, I'm gonna go because I gotta go. So see ya. I'll let you guys know. All right, you guys will probably figure out before I do, but see ya.
Okay.
He was lagging really badly for me. I can hear you perfectly.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated about this poll because that's gonna reveal how we should feel about Wisconsin, and Wisconsin's the tipping point.
Yeah. Okay. So starting with Alabama, this district's flipping. I mean, they drew it so that it would be like, a black district, and even
they're scared of underperforming there.
They might. Like I can see that, but I don't think it's going to be enough. So
did you do tilts?
Yeah, I can do tilts.
Alaska flips.
So here's the thing about Peltola. I wasn't going to say this when Hawkeye was here. I think she actually still does have a good shot at losing, though. just based off of partisanship.
Yeah, I think she loses.
And also the fact that I know she got a majority in the blanket primary, but that's still just a blanket primary that's low turnout. Like the election day turnout is obviously way higher than the primary turnout. So it's like,
yeah, Dems do primary turnout more than Republicans anyway.
so honestly, I would be willing to put this as tilt.
That's
The internal polls might be like for Republicans might just be totally delusional, and Peltola might win by like a lean margin, but like I don't know. It's really kind of a toss up. There actually are like Inside Elections actually has this flipping now, so it's not crazy for some people to think that this flips, but like I don't know. It's really close either way. Okay. Arizona, okay, just based off of the fact that Trump's going to do decent in Arizona, I'm not going to have Crane winning by less than 10.
I know Hawkeye. He's like scared of Arizona, and I would be too. But those early numbers are crazy.
I think based off of the fact that Schweikert is in a Biden plus 1.5 seat only, if this was a Biden plus 6 seat, he would be done. But this is like barely a Biden seat. And and he's an incumbent who's probably going to slightly outperform Trump just because of that, or run right in line with Trump maybe. But either way, I think this is tilt for Schweikert just based off of Trump's performance in Arizona. I think in 2026, Schweikert's definitely dead on arrival. It's just like I think he's going to be lucky again.
Is that assuming Trump wins?
Yeah, this is assuming Trump wins in Arizona. But yeah, I think Schweikert wins. And then same with Cisco Mani. I think Cisco Mani wins by a lean margin. He's unlike Schweikert, he's actually like more of like a generic, like kind of moderate Republican. And plus he's facing a rematch against like the same person from last time. Like, and it's barely even this seat is like plus 0.1% for Biden. It's like all Trump has to do is barely do better here. And if Cisco Mani outperforms Trump, then he's already winning by a lean margin. So it's like, it's not even crazy to say Cisco Mani should win here. Okay. So I think Harder might just barely win by under 5 because Kevin Lincoln's a good candidate, but we're not going to talk about that much because that's still low profile. Relevant.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that as a surprise for you. I don't bank on it, but I could see that.
I could see it. So polls for whatever reason are showing Duarte losing now. I'm not sure why.
Oh shit! Someone just messaged me saying Seltzer lost all credibility.
What? What does it show?
3 points. What?
What? That's not real.
I hope not. Hold on, what? Oh, no, 47, 44. So is this true? Like, what the fuck?
Anyway, we'll get back to that in a second. So Duarte, the polls are showing Duarte losing. I'm not sure why. He got like 55% in the blanket primary. I'm willing to say he probably wins this. I mean, he's also just like a generic moderate. Like he actually is kind of a moderate Republican. He's not like a party line type at all. Like he's not just like a generic R. Like he's legitimately closer to like a David Valadao type than like Mike Garcia type. So I think Duarte's in fine shape. Same with Valadao. He's facing a rematch just like Duarte is. I don't know.
I don't think they're gonna get him like in any year.
Yeah. I mean, unless it's like 2026 because of like a blue wave or something, but I don't see that. We don't know about that yet. So, but yeah, Valadao, I think he holds on. Garcia, I don't know what's going on with Garcia's district. There are some predictors saying Garcia loses.
I could see both.
I don't understand why. The only reason why he might have a stronger chance at going down this year is because his opponent's like super well funded and stuff. But like Garcia got 55% in the blanket primary. Like, I don't get why people like unless he has a massive underperformance from the blanket primary, he should be fine. Like, I think people in his district just generally like Mike Garcia. I'm willing to say this is like way closer. Like, this might be a tilt margin, but like I don't get why people think Garcia might
Plus,
actually lose.
that area is trending right.
Oh yeah, that too. Young Kim. So I think this is going to be barely single digits, but yeah, this district's basically gone. So
Wait, she won by 13 last time. Yeah, I can see her winning by double.
Ken Calvert, he's taken his district for granted, even though it's trending to the left now.
He'll either
But
lose this year or next year.
He's going to win this year, I think. But he's going to win by less than he did in 2022 because he just sucks at like running campaigns for whatever reason. And then it also is a Trump seat. If this was a Biden +5 seat from last time, then I would be willing to say Calvert actually might lose. But the fact that Trump still won this seat, I mean, come on. All Calvert has to do is like run in line with Trump this time around, and he probably wins. So like, unless he just like underperforms somehow, but like that seems nuts. So
she's about to go up unpredicted, I bet. What the fuck? Like, hold on. Is she up? No Wi-Fi. No, they're tied. Wait, so you think Seltzer has no credibility anymore, right? Because it is not going to Harris by 3 under zero circumstance.
Wait, it shows Harris plus.
I'm sorry, it has Trump winning by 3, but you know.
Yeah, that's just wrong.
Higher chance it goes double digits than 3, much higher.
Yeah. Okay, Michelle Steele. I think Michelle Steele wins by like a point or so.
Wait, she's winning by 3.
Wait, Harris is leading by 3 in Seltzer.
Yeah, so that's not a thing anymore, I don't think.
That's their actual poll.
Yeah. Why would they want to embarrass themselves like that?
That is, you have got to be kidding me. What is it with? Forget this.
I thought +4 was fucked up too, but it's like +3 with Harris.
You're telling me that Harris actually made a gain in the last month when everybody agrees that she's been doing worse this last month.
And Atlas just released a good post for Trump, and they were very accurate before.
Yeah, come on. That's dumb. Katie Porter's seat, she retired, and the non-incumbency factor is going to help Republicans here. I think just based off the fact that Dave Min is just one of those candidates who just like sucks for whatever reason. I mean, he's got like the DUI thing.
Oh yeah, I think this one flips.
He's also just like, there's just something about him. I think she's just like not a likable candidate for whatever reason. So I think this flips actually. Especially, isn't this region actually right trending too? Like where Katie Porter's from?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Porter's seat might flip. Mike Levin, though, forget about that. That seat should not be considered competitive as long as that guy is holding it. Okay, Colorado, this is fine. I think Boebert's seat remains in the Republican column by a lean margin, maybe a likely margin, just because it is still Trump +8. But and then I think Caraveo wins by a lean margin.
I could see that one flipping though.
It might. It's just this is Colorado, and I'm weary of saying anything in Colorado flips for Republicans. So, Jahana Hayes' seat, that's, I don't know. It's Connecticut, and it's Biden +11. Like,
though it's gonna be like Harris +4 this time.
I mean, yeah, I think it's still Logan runs good campaigns, but it's like at the end of the day, I'm not gonna touch this one. Okay, Florida. So all of these districts are safe except for Anna Paulina Luna's. That's going to be likely. Just
that's my district. That's no chance that goes blue.
She's just, the thing about her is like she's less of a generic R. She's like actually more. She's like a Freedom Caucus type. So it's like she's a lot more conservative maybe than the partisan lean of her district would like allow, but like it's a right trending seat. So I think that'll be good. Soto is Soto's seat actually going to be single digits? Do we want to say that?
How much was it in 2022? 7?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think we're going to keep it barely above 10.
I mean, Florida's going to shift right again, though not as right as 2022.
And then I was trying, do we want to say Moskowitz wins by less than 10, right?
Yeah.
Although actually, you know what? No, it will be less than 10, but like it's going to shift to the left from 2022 because the Republican candidate this time around is just totally useless.
And Moskowitz
Like-
actually good then.
Yeah. Okay, there's nothing out of Georgia. I guess Sanford Bishop seat might be single digits because black voters shifting to the right, but like it doesn't matter. Even if it is, it's going to be like still like 9 for him, so nobody really cares. Same thing. I think Sorensen wins by a lean margin, but that's still really not a seat anyone should think is going to flip. Just still a competitive seat. Frank Mervan, I think. Do we think honestly? You know what? Mervan wins by about the same as last time. Honestly.
Sorry to distract, but Iowa or Emerson has Iowa by 10. So
Yeah, I trust Emerson more than Seltzer. Honestly, just based on Seltzer being dumb. All right. Okay. There are like inside elections, they think Mary Peltola loses, but they also think Marionette Miller Meeks loses. I have no clue what they're thinking. I don't get what the hype is around Marionette Miller Meeks being vulnerable, but it's not going to pay off. This is still going to be above 5, well above 5.
I feel weird talking about Iowa right now.
Yeah, this is a Trump plus 3 district from 2020. If Iowa is shifting to the right this year, which like just ignore what Seltzer just came out with. If it's shifting to the right, then it's like Marionette Miller Meeks doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell of losing. Like that's just all there is to it. Same with Zach Dunn. Like these 2 seats are getting overhyped. This Miller Meeks especially. I have no idea why people think, oh, she won by 7 in 2022, but she might actually lose this time.
Yeah, 2022 was such a vulnerable environment. Like, wouldn't it happen then?
Yeah, I have no idea what they're thinking at all. Kansas, this don't even think about that seat anymore. It's gone. Louisiana, this district is definitely going to be double digits for Cleo Fields. Maine. Okay, I think Jared Golden actually loses here. He is the polls that had him winning in 2022 by like 9, like Pan Atlantic Research, they now have him losing by like a few points. I think this is lean to tilt R. I think he really screwed himself over.
I hope he just runs for governor in 2026.
Yeah. I mean, he would be for a Democrat. He'd be fine as a governor. But I think he screwed himself over with the gun control comments because he basically showed that at heart he's not nearly as moderate as he makes himself out to be. Again, there's going to be plenty of golden Trump voters, but it's like it's partisanship. I mean, I think
and
it's
Trump's improving there. This district I see is not a flip, maybe a flip, but like underestimated.
I think it's still above 5, but I think it might maybe. I think just based off of some of the hype it's getting, I think it's going to be less. It's going to be a closer election than 2022 was.
Yeah.
Okay, Michigan. Okay, so multiple in Alyssa Slotkin's seat. multiple different predictors all like actually have this seat flipping. There has not been a single poll that has showed Curtis Hertel leading in this district.
Plus, he has scandals.
Yeah, he just sucks. He's just one of the dumb candidates this year that just sucks. Like I think this one flips. I mean, I get Barrett
flips too.
I think Kildese could. I think it's kind of a toss-up. In the interest of being generous, I'm gonna say it's tilt D, because we really could have recruited a better candidate for Kildese's seat, in my opinion. And the Dems actually found like a well-known state senator. So like I think their candidate's just better there. But like these seats are both flippable. It's just
I just think Trump wins the district.
If he does, then maybe. But like I don't know how much. I don't know what Trump's chances are of winning it. I think it's possible though. That's why I have it at tilt. But I'm in the interest of being conservative about this. I'm just gonna. Oh yeah, and John James also wins. Anybody who thinks John James loses?
Yeah, if he won in 2022 with that disaster, he's winning by a lot more this time.
I mean, what? Tudor Dixon lost that seat by probably like 10 or 11, right? I mean, she was like so bad for Michigan as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, if you're winning when Tudor Dixon is losing, then like, yeah, you're definitely holding on. Minnesota. There's not much to say here. I think Angie Craig, this is like borderline likely, maybe lean. I don't know.
This would be like once the Senate seat opens up and she runs for it, it's gonna be like Swatkin's seat. We'll just get it back.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a fair analogy. But yeah, that's a relatively uneventful seat. Missouri. I don't know why people keep saying like, for whatever reason, Ann Wagner's seat is considered borderline competitive, but like I just don't see that. I don't really. I get it's less red than other districts, but it doesn't really matter. It's still
apparently she wanted it to be a more moderate district so that she can have a better time winning primaries.
That's interesting. Ryan Zink, okay, he's a bad candidate, but like he's still winning. There's no questions there. Don Bacon. Okay. Can I just say this? I would make no mistake. I would prefer Don Bacon win in the interest of just having a Republican seat. That being said, I really am not going to miss this guy that much because he's been such a jerk in the House to like actual conservatives. Like the base hates this guy, and for good reason. Like legitimately, he's like one of the most unlikable Republican moderates. It's like I can respect Brian Fitzpatrick and like
Lawler.
Lawler and a few others, but it's like Bacon is just obnoxious. Like, just come on. Like, anyway, so that's flipping just because of the leftward trends. It's probably over for Bacon. Nevada. The early voting is so good in Nevada. Some of these seats might actually come into play, but I'm not sure any of them flip yet.
Even though the Forbes the blue list, that one has the weakest Democrat and the strongest Republican.
The third also. I also like the Republican in the third, but like I don't know.
Yeah, 2022 is our chance to catch them.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, because these seats are still like
gerrymandered.
Yeah, they're still like too Dem leaning. It's like Trump has to be really outperforming in Nevada for these seats to flip. So like, and Nevada also just doesn't ticket split much. Like they just if they vote for if one of those districts votes for a certain person for president, then they're probably voting for the exact same person for Congress. It's like
no, Nevada does ticket split actually.
Well, in 2022 they did with Cortez Masto and then Lombardo, but like
screwed. And same with 2012. I'm pretty sure.
It's just I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just my point is like just looking at the margins for 2020, it's like I don't see a scenario where like any one of these people like Trump loses one of these seats by like 5 or like 6 or whatever, but then one of these incumbents goes down. Like Nevada doesn't ticket split quite like that, at least for Congress. So they're just very polarized in that way. New Hampshire. Okay. I'm gonna be hot take. I think Ann Custer's seat might just barely be single digits.
Oh, what I was gonna say is, I think Custer's seat goes closer than. Oh, well, I guess not in your opinion, because that Democrat sucks and the Republican's good.
Wait,
I was gonna say the second might be closer than the first, maybe not.
No, I think the second still, because the second's still bluer. I do like the Republican in the second. Make no mistake. You know, one of the libertarian leaning Republicans that I have a thing for. But at the end of the day, this is still New Hampshire, and
hopefully in 2026 we pick one up.
Goodlander is a bad candidate, to be fair. Like, I still don't get why she won that primary. That made no sense to me. I don't get what appeal she has, but she's way worse than Custer, because I mean she like hated on pro-life Christians or whatever. Like, I don't get.
And she's not even from there.
Yeah, I mean, she also just has limited ties to the seat in general. Okay, Tom Keene's winning. There shouldn't be much debate there. His opponent sucks.
One of the worst.
Yeah, his opponent's awful. New Mexico.
I could see it. I don't know, honestly.
The rightward trends of Latinos might make this way closer than 2020, but I still think
Give it a tilt.
Maybe. Yeah, we can make it tilt. I'm not willing to say it shifts enough to the right for Harrell to win a rematch here.
If she did, that'd be funny. She loses midterm years and wins presidential.
Yeah. Lolota's probably going to win by like 8 or something. Swazi's going to win by like
8.
Yeah, probably a similar margin. D'Esposito, this race is crazy. I think he loses. There was one poll that had him down by 12. And then there was another pollster that came out with a higher sample size that had him leading by 1. So it's definitely a relatively close, like.
I mean, it is red trending, but he has scandals.
Yeah, he has that one thing that kind of, I think, hurt his reputation. So, but yeah, Lawler,
likely, no joke, lean likely.
Yeah, Lawler. I'm not prepared to say likely, but Lawler definitely wins by lean. Not even because of the Working Families Party candidate being a different person.
It's because
Jones, it just sucks. Like, Lawler, I truly think Lawler is going to be the next Brian Fitzpatrick. Like,
no, actually, you know what I think? I think he might actually just run for governor in 2026, and against Hochul in the right environment, I think he can actually pull it off.
Maybe, but yeah, Jones is just a bad candidate, and like literally, there's not been a single poll that has shown Jones beating Lawler. Like every single poll of this race, and there have been a lot of polls of this district too, by the way, all of them show Lawler winning. So it's like Jones clearly just has a problem with appealing to voters in this district for some
Why
reason.
does Pat Ryan appeal to Republicans? I'm confused. What's some other
I don't know. I mean, I guess he was like a county executive or whatever, so maybe they know him from that. It's still a relatively blue seat. I like Esposito. She's a good candidate and all. She was Zeldin's running mate. It might be closer than we think. I don't think the polls are showing it being like Ryan +9, which I don't buy that at all. But I think it's still lean for Ryan. But Esposito is a good candidate. If Ryan was a weaker incumbent, maybe she would win. But I don't think so. And then Mark Molinaro, there's some people thinking this district's going to flip now, but I'm not quite sure why. This is like one of the reddest seats that Biden won in. It's a of the districts in New York that Biden won in 2020. This is like the least Democratic. And like all Molinaro needs to do is like outperform by several points, and he's winning. Plus,
and Molinaro is a good candidate.
Yeah. Well, he's like, no, yeah, he is. Like he's similar, he's moderate, like akin to Lawler. And also Josh Riley is literally just running a rematch here. Like Dems didn't even get a new candidate. So yeah, I think this is lean for Molinaro. Brandon Williams is done though. He won because of circumstance, not because of anything else. He was never a
Oh yeah,
strong
no, he's
candidate.
losing by likely. No, I don't know about likely, but definitely a win.
Yeah. Probably by like 4 or something. North Carolina. Okay, so all of these districts that are likely, they're safe because they're gerrymandered.
This one pisses me off. I think Robinson screwed her over.
I think so. I think so too. Actually, because Davis actually is kind of moderate, believe it or not.
Yeah, I know.
He's in the Blue Dog Coalition, so um, so I think that barely stays Democrat.
What's next, Ohio?
Ohio. Yeah. So this district, yeah, this one's pretty much done for Republicans. I mean, yeah, I don't know how
I
they can win
honestly,
that.
I'm rated as like Kilder wins. I still think the ninth might actually flip with Trump. I don't know why.
I'm I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it as lean for captor. I guess if Trump just really wins Ohio by a lot and like wins if Trump wins Ohio's ninth by like 5, which he won this by 3 last time. If he wins it by like 5 or something, I guess Marcy Captor could lose, but like I don't know. The thing about her, she has such strong ties to the Toledo area. It's like that's one of the reasons why it's so tough to beat her. It's I mean, and I know Majewski was also just a bad candidate in 2022, but I think part of it also was legitimately that she's just a strong
Yeah,
incumbent.
that's kind of what we're gonna see. Is she strong or was he weak?
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of it was that he was weak, but I think also a lot of it is that she just has appeal because she's been there for so long. Like voters just know who she is. So
The third
I don't
season,
know.
apparently, the lady is really strong. I don't get what's so cool about her, but I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? I think the 13th is Tilt D. I think Coughlin. I mean Trump did endorse Coughlin, but the thing is, this is a Biden seat, so Trump needs to win this seat
I think he does
by
win it.
like I think if Trump wins it by like 2 or something, then maybe Coughlin barely wins. But like, I don't know. I think Sykes actually is a decent incumbent. So, um, yeah, I'm gonna be cautious for now. Oregon. So these 2 districts, I agree, these are likely. Chavez DeRemer, I think narrowly loses. I think she's a good incumbent. Maybe she could has an
Yeah, I don't
outside
know honestly.
chance. I think she has an outside chance of winning, but Dems actually did the smart thing and nominated the right candidate here.
Which he never did.
Yeah. And they nominated somebody who's already beaten Chavez DeRemer in elections before. So,
So be prepared for like the statement in Pennsylvania. Cartwright's winning again. I hate it. I have a gut feeling it's gonna happen.
you're kind of right, actually.
He
Oh,
wins
by the way,
every requirement.
while we're at it, Scott Perry, I'm so tired of people like, I don't get what the polling is with this district, but it's wrong. Like, Perry is winning this by at least 5. Like,
Yeah, no, he's not losing.
I don't get why people are thinking, oh, Marinette Miller Meeks and Scott Perry, their districts are actually really competitive this year. Like, where did that come from even? Like, but yeah, I don't know what to say about Cartwright. I think you might actually be right. I think it's
I
actually
hate to say it.
possible.
I think Wild's actually more likely to lose.
Well, you know what? I'll put both of these districts as tilt. I think here's the thing. If Trump shifts Cartwright's district, like if he shifts it like a point to the right, which I mean, it's like a more working class district, right? So like that would make sense.
Yeah, Trump's winning both of these. I think.
I don't know. It just depends on how much ticket splitting there is. I think it's possible Cartwright actually does win though. Um, the thing is,
Oh, because did you see that one poll?
um, oh yeah, the poll had Cartwright ahead by like 7 or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, that's dumb, but
Are they accurate though? Because I don't really know their history.
I don't know, but I think they're dumb if they think that. I don't know. These districts could flip. The thing is, Cartwright did have his worst overperformance in 2022 of like any election, because he only won by he won by 2.4 when John Fetterman won the district by 1. So he like barely outperformed Fetterman. So if that's any indication of his loss of crossover appeal, it's possible that he loses. I don't know. This one's just kind of a toss up because you're kind of right. It's hard for me to say Cartwright loses when we always say that and then he never loses. But like, yeah, it's in the interest of being generous, I guess.
That's
We
why
can
I
say
had
he wins it.
Judge winning because I want at least 2 pickups from that area.
It's I don't know. It's possible. I for all purposes, we can say that that's kind of a toss up. But like, I don't know. It's
Plus, Bob Casey probably helps him.
yeah. Bob Casey might actually help him. For all we know. Okay, South Carolina. No, they don't have Nancy Mace's likely. That's good. Tennessee. Okay, Ogles is not winning by less than 10. I don't know why they keep thinking that. Monica De La
That's not
Cruz,
my hot take. That one can flip. I don't know if it will, but I think it might.
Gonzalez. I don't think so. And I think Cuellar's also in decent shape. I know he got indicted and stuff and might be in jail or something soon, but
Yeah,
like,
my prediction is he wins this time. Middle of next year, we pick it up when he resigns.
yeah. Well, I'll move it to lean though because the indictment still might hurt him, somewhat. But I don't know. The Republican candidate's just kind of like not really that significant. So
Yeah, we have different targets this year than 2022.
yeah. Okay, Virginia.
This
Okay.
one just has to flip. I'm sorry.
Kiggins. Okay, Kiggins is definitely winning. The Democratic candidate there is just kind of like not
Right.
really that important. The 7th is really just kind of a toss up because if the early voting is any indicator, Republicans might have a chance here, but I don't know.
I personally do think it flips. I don't know though.
I'll go with you, but like I don't know. It's still like I'm still gonna put it as tilt D actually, but because it's Biden plus 7. It's like this district has to shift more to the right than the state at large does.
No, but I think I think Anderson outperforms Trump. That's my thinking.
I think he would as well, but like I don't know how much that I don't know if that's enough.
God, this water sucks.
I think I'm gonna put his tilt D. I think it's like razor thin. Because yeah, Vindman is not obviously a good candidate at all. But I think just based off of how the district is voted. And then okay, yeah, Washington's 8th. We're not going to bother with that one anymore. And then Joe Kent. I think Joe Kent wins
Yeah, I
this
think
by
he
like
wins
a
now.
point. I think he
Because,
wins by like a point. Yeah.
This one person that had Perez winning in 2022 has Kent winning now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He might not even be the best candidate for the district, but it's like this is like one of the few Trump districts that a Democrat holds. It's like unless they somehow outdo that, but
No,
like
Trump helps him.
yeah, I know. It's and then in Wisconsin, so Van Orden's holding on. Do we think Brian Steele wins by over 10?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Van Orden, I want him to get primaried in 26. I don't like him.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of ended up a total disappointment, but anyway. Okay, so that's the map. Somehow we actually have Republicans maybe gaining a seat. Barely. Now there are a few districts here that we could put in the pure toss-up category, like I think Kildees and Virginia's 7th. I think these two you could make a good argument for flipping. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think Republicans do hold on to the House. I'm not I'm not thinking that it's like it's going to be like great for them or whatever. I just think they're going to offset any losses that they got from like redistricting and the fact that they have some incumbents that aren't the strongest in Democratic districts. I think
Plus
they're just going to
retiring.
offset. They're just going to offset that with the fact that they're winning some open Democratic seats, and the fact that they have like incumbents in some pretty Trumpy seats as well. And also the fact they have some really, really strong incumbents elsewhere. So I think this is what it looks like. So yeah, I guess that's all the predictions then.
So like, what else is there that we can talk about? Like, statewide, I don't really know. Do you think Pennsylvania's attorney general race? How do you think that goes?
Wait, Pennsylvania's attorney general race? Is that?
I think
Is
that
that-
one goes to Republicans.
Wait, who are the candidates for that?
Dave Sunday and Pasquale, D. Pasquale.
Oh, I think DePasquale might win that but just because he was elected statewide before.
I don't know. What else? North Carolina Attorney General. I think Jackson wins, unfortunately, because of Robinson.
Yeah, I think so as well.
So for all the
yeah.
viewers freaking out about Seltzer, should we just reassure them? I guess.
Oh yeah, and oh yeah, Cargo Freight Ship says thoughts on the Seltzer poll. Yeah, any poll that has Harris winning Iowa should be immediately discredited. I don't know why they did this to themselves. I sincerely wonder if they just like what possible reason would they have for releasing that? Like,
there's no way Trump does worse than 2020, and that makes no sense.
yeah, it's ridiculous. It's
Throw it in the trash.
has
Well,
to be
Nate Silver
fake or
thinks it's
something.
crap.
Yeah, I mean, nobody in their right mind thinks that poll is going to be anywhere close to accurate. I mean, Emerson College is a respectable pollster. They have it Trump plus 10. So like, you can't convince me that Trump is losing Iowa somehow, or even
Also,
like that it's close.
I was always convinced that woman was a Democrat, and a habit I keep seeing is people that used to pretend or at least hide their bias, like Wickman. They're finally showing it this year.
Yeah, but
Like Dems just hate Trump that much now.
yeah, I think Tuesday is going to be very interesting. I guess since I streamed this, I guess our predictions are now on the record. So I guess we'll see if this is any good or not.
I mean, I think we played it safe.
I think so too. I mean, I try to be unless Dems have another crazy overperformance like they claim that they're going to get.
I feel like we're likely to have the overperformance.
Yeah, I think that too. It's just like there's still the abortion issue or whatever that they want to make a big fuss about. So it's like, I don't know. It just comes down to like turnout and like how exciting of a candidate Harris actually ended up being, which I really think Harris has a good shot at just like crashing and burning.
I think if Harris chose Shapiro, I think we'd be in a bit more trouble.
Oh yeah, well yeah, because Pennsylvania.
Like that was such a boneheaded move.
That was nuts.
And do you think the election's going to be called by like what time do you think it's going to be called?
I think it'll be called sometime the next. Well, I think I don't think it'll be called until like maybe 2 days after Election Day, but I think by the end of the next day, I think most of us will pretty much know who won It's just the media will like not be calling some states because out of the interest of being safe. But like most of us will still be like, yeah, okay, Trump's probably winning or Harris is probably winning.
And I think by like in the early morning hours, I think we'll know like who the not heavy, but like the good favorite is.
Yeah, because we'll be able to see like where votes are coming from and whatnot. Yeah, I'm excited about this. I will try to stream some of election night. I'm not going to be streaming a huge amount of it.
Yeah, I'll be calling my friends.
But I mean, there's at least one guy on Discord who wanted to do a collaborative stream with me for maybe an hour and a half or so, and I might stream past that. But like, yeah, I'm going to be watching the results mostly on my own, because streams.
Seeing that on in the background.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I guess that concludes this stream. So I guess if for the one person who is watching right now, please tune in for any coverage I guess I will have on Tuesday, and
Share with everyone.
yeah, and I guess we'll see you then.